Hello guys, this is James Abedi. Before we start, just gonna emphasize on the increasing the quality of the YouTube video before you seeing it to the highest quality possible. For me here is 1080p, and then that would be a better quality video to watch. So I'm gonna come back to our example. We had here Adam Brown. If you remember, I explained it on prior tutorial number 1 to 4, the way we created that account. He placed sale order, he made a payment, and we shipped the items to the customer. So let's look into this invoice, the last invoice which we shipped. So if you remember, on the last invoice we shipped 1 Lobster C and 2 Barstool C to the customer, and this is $54. And that happened on November 14, 2017. Just imagine, let's say a week after, customer try the item and see the item basically doesn't have the quality it's supposed to have, or has some issue or some problem, and the store manager approved a return of the item to be replaced after. So basically now customer decided to return one of those Barstool after the approval of a store manager. So when the customer gonna return the item to us, you need to create, after customer return the item to us, you need to create a credit memo for that item which is returned to us. So let's say in that example, he's gonna return us 1 of Barstool C. As you remember, the price of each item was $12. So let's say he returned the item to us on November 21st, 2017. So you need to create a credit memo. You can do it through here. You see, you go to the invoice which is related to the item which is returning to us, and you have one option here, Refund Credit. You just click on it and it takes you to another page. Then you need to put the date of return, which as I mentioned was November 21st, 2017. Never change the credit memo number, the same as invoice number or sale order number. These are generated number by the system. You are not supposed to change it under no circumstances. Now you need to basically shape your credit memo, because when you click on that item, refund credit, it creates a credit memo for all the items on the original invoice you are creating the credit memo for. So in this example, we don't need to create the credit memo for all the items. Just 1 Barstool C is returning to us. So you just delete that line and you change the quantity of Barstool C from 2 to 1, because just 1 is returning to us. And now everything looks good to me. So you have 1 Barstool C which is returning to us, and the price was $12. So we have 1 credit memo of $12. And the other thing is that always you need to put the invoice number related to that credit memo. So I'm gonna come back to see what was the invoice. Invoice number was 308. So I'm gonna put here invoice number 308, and it's always to put some memo. So return due to issue with Barstool C approved by the store manager. So you're supposed to put the name of the store manager, and it's good you explain it maybe in more detail, what was the issue and what happened. I'm not gonna open it up or go through complicated situation for now. I'm just gonna leave it simple as easy, and then after in future tutorials I'm gonna explain in more detail, you know, like if the situation get more complicated, how we're supposed to handle the situation. So for now we leave it as is, and that's it. And you hit on save and close. Before I hit on save and close, I'm gonna take you back to the customer. Before we create that credit memo, as you see, the customer balance is $0. Now I'm gonna create a credit memo and hit save and close. Always it asks you to choose between these three options: retain as an available credit, give a refund, apply to an invoice. These are three things you can do with your credit memo. In our situation, I'm not gonna choose apply to an invoice because the invoice is paid in full. So basically we don't have any short payment that we apply the credit memo to. And let's imagine that customer didn't ask for a refund. They just said we're gonna leave it as an available credit to be used towards future purchases. Then we choose the first option and say OK. And here we go. Now the balance of customer changed from 0 to -12. When it says -12, that means we are owing customer $12 due to that credit memo which we generated earlier. So this credit memo, as I mentioned, customer asked to be used towards future purchases, so we're gonna keep it here and we're gonna use it later on. I'm gonna emphasize on a very, very, very important point. Guys, if you do not have invoice, you are not supposed to create a credit memo. So I repeat it again. No invoice, no credit memo. That's rule of thumb. As you saw in this example, we had an invoice which was generated before, and that means the item was shipped on November 14 and was returned on November 21st, so I generated a credit memo. But if customer cancel an order before it gets shipped out, you are not supposed to create a credit memo. So we should treat that situation in a very different way. So in the second situation which I explained, that the item is not shipped out yet, if you create a credit memo, you are gonna end up paying customer or credit customer more than enough, and that's gonna cause problem after to go after customer to collect the money again. Doesn't look professional, and good luck with collecting money sometimes because you cannot find the customer after. So this situation, this example, we had an invoice, so that's okay. We have a credit memo here. So let's say on that example that you thought customer want to use the credit to be applied towards next orders. The customer called you after and say, you know what, I changed my mind, I want my money back. Okay, so then you can refund the money to the customer. Please make sure always refund the money to the customer the exact same way customer paid you. So how customer paid us for that invoice? It was through check. Then you're supposed to issue a check for that credit memo. If customer paid you through credit card, you're supposed to exactly refund the credit card, refund the money to the same credit card customer paid you. You cannot refund the money to a different credit card. Customer say, oh, you know what, I'm not using that credit card, refund to another credit card. No, there is no such a thing. You must refund the money to the customer the exact same way customer paid you originally. Okay, so in this situation, if we're going to refund the money to the customer, As you remember, Credit Memo gave you 3 options to choose from. If I go to the Credit Memo and hit save and close, it's not going to give me those options anymore. So how I can have those options again? You should make some small change on a description somewhere. Let's say I put the dot here at the end of the memo. So if I put very small change or any kind of change on the Credit Memo, you hit save and close, that's going to give you those 3 options again. Here you go. And now we're going to give a refund to customer. And you say OK. It takes you to another page. You cannot change this amount. That's the amount you're going to refund, $12, the name of the customer. You're going to issue a check for the refund because customer originally paid you by check. And that's the date of the refund. And let's say check number 111 has been issued to refund the customer. That's it. And hit OK. Now the balance of customer is 0 because we refunded the Credit Memo to the customer. And even you can see the refund here. You see that check is a check. Let's check 111. So which we issue this check. Let's keep it as this one. And we issue check 111 to refund the money to customer. The balance of customer is 0. Even if you go to the Credit Memo, you hit on transaction history, you can see the link between the Credit Memo and the refunded money. The same way as here, you go to the money which is refunded to the customer, you go to report, transaction history, you see the link between the refunded money to the Credit Memo. So basically these are linked together and you can check how we dealt with Credit Memo. Did we keep it or we refund it to the customer? You can easily check it out that way. I'm gonna stop here for tutorial number 5 regards to the Credit Memo. And the next tutorials I'm gonna explain more complicated situations in terms of canceling order or returning the items to the store and how we're supposed to handle those situations. Thank you for listening. And